Wrath of a Grandfather by Katlego Matlhare, Luhutselo Junior Secondary School, Kalahari North District. Narrated by Oratile Teamane, Maung Senior Secondary School, Maung.
Morning sun rays flooded her room, painting everything a warm gold. She was cuddled in the bed, enjoying the warmth of the blankets. She heard footsteps approaching her door, and she knew instantly that it was her wicked grandfather. That old man. He wouldn't just let her rest. Siso jumped out of the bed and rushed to the door, but her grandfather opened it before she could touch the knob. She knew, as he opened his mouth, that she was going to suffer another verbal attack. Siso's parents worked at different places in some other parts of the country. They had both agreed that since they couldn't split their only child between them, she better stay with their father, who needed more domestic assistance than they did. When they made this decision, they didn't know that their father was the most abusive human being ever to walk planet Earth. Whenever they visited, he faked warmth, pretended that all was good, but the moment they left, Siso would be back in the frying pan. It was either the frying pan or the fire, and neither of this was good. One morning while her grandfather belched from the tea he had just had, the tea that Siso made but was not allowed to drink, he told her the news that would turn her life upside down. "You're not going to school anymore," he said. "The head boy at the cattle post ran away, and my livestock is at risk of getting lost, stolen, or eaten by predators. You're moving to the cattle post." Siso's resistance meant nothing to her grandfather. She moved to the cattle post. There, life was different and tough. The perpetual smell of cow dung, the oily milk that had become staple food, the brownish borehole water for drinking, and the flies. Oh, the flies that were everywhere. But worse still were the tasks that Siso was given. She had to look after cows and goats, milk them every morning, take them out to graze, and look after them all day, and head them to the borehole for drinking. She had to cook for her grandfather every morning and evening. She had to clean the huts and the yard. She had to fetch water and cook the dog food. It was too much, and she thought she was going to fall down and die from fatigue. Where were her parents? She asked herself often. Were they not aware that she was living under the shadow of their father? Why was her grandfather so vile to her? Was he administering some form of revenge against her parents? But for what? All these questions lacked answers. What she knew was that her parents sent money every month to her grandfather. The money was supposed to buy her food and anything that may be needed at school. Needless to say, the money ended up in drinking holes, and a huge tank of it used to pay her grandfather's debts. She also noticed that her grandfather occasionally bought a goat or a sheep and sometimes a cow. She suspected that it was her money that financed these purchases. It was in the early evening of a Saturday when Siso's aunt arrived at the cattle post. She found Siso driving the livestock into the corral and securing the wooden makeshift gate. "Good evening, Aunt," Siso said, wiping the dirt from her hands. "What puts you here?" "Where's your grandfather?" her aunt asked. "At the shebeen. He comes home very late these days." "Your teachers called me. They say you're missing at school." "Yes, Aunt. Grandfather said I should live here and look after his livestock." "You're going back. Pack your things." "I don't have anything to pack," Siso said. "Grandfather will kill me if he finds out that I ran away." "You're not running away. I'm taking you. Get in the van now." "Forget about your grandfather. He's very responsible." Now staying with her aunt, Siso was enrolled in school again. Her aunt had told her parents the entire story, and they jumped into action straight away. It was found out that Siso's grandfather was using Siso's money to buy livestock for himself. The village chief ruled against him and rendered 10 cows and 13 goats to Siso. A few months later, when her grandfather was lying on bed sick, he called for Siso. "I'm sick because I never apologized to you," he said. His voice was weak and frail. "I'm very sorry for the way I treated you. I was very wrong." And so, Siso forgave her grandfather. She prayed that when he died, God would forgive him and allow him into heaven.
Take home message. Parents should have open and free channels of communication with their children so that they are informed and aware of the issues in their children's lives. They can only fully support their children when they know the inside story. Taking children out of school is against the requirements of the Botswana Children's Act of 2009.